Let us start right here, right now, because this is not just another Sunday in English football. This is a moment that Arsenal Football Club has been building toward for years. The Carabao Cup Final, Arsenal against Manchester City at Wembley Stadium. And the noise around this fixture in the days leading up to it has been extraordinary. A Sky Sports Premier League posted something that stopped a lot of people in their tracks. The post read, and I want you to hear this clearly, this Sunday will be the first time ever in the League Cup's 66-year history that the final has been contested by the teams placed first and second in the top flight. 66 years, that is how long this competition has existed, and not once in all of that time has the final been played between the two teams sitting first and second in the Premier League. Not once, until now. That alone tells you the scale of what is happening on Sunday. This is not a routine cup final. This is the first and second place teams in English football going head-to-head at Wembley in a cup final while simultaneously locked in a title race. The pressure attached to this game is enormous and both clubs know it. Now let me take you deeper into everything that has been said, confirmed, revealed and speculated in the build-up, because there is a lot to unpack here and I want to give you the full picture, the way only a proper analysis can. Here is what makes this final particularly loaded for Arsenal specifically. It is now clear that Arsenal have not won a major domestic trophy in 6 years. 6 years. Arteta himself acknowledged that reality directly when asked whether the Carabao Cup means more to Arsenal than it does to Manchester City. He said, and these are his words, "When you have been in this position and years without winning a trophy, obviously it adds more necessity, but as well more drive. Because you really want it, and that's something that we have, that is something really important for us and something that we've been trying to achieve for a while. I know we have the opportunity to do it." That is a manager speaking with complete honesty about the weight his club carries into this match. The necessity, the drive, those words matter because Manchester City come into this as a club that has won almost everything in recent years. For Arsenal, Sunday represents something deeper. It represents ending a drought, proving that the project has arrived, and sending a message to the rest of the Premier League that this team is ready to win. And before I go further, if you are watching this channel for the first time, this is exactly the kind of deep analytical breakdown we bring you on every major Arsenal story. Hit that subscribe button because the full picture matters, and we give you the full picture every single time. Let me now go through everything step by step. The manager, the players, the goalkeeper debate, the injury concerns, the transfer rumours, the quotes from both dugouts, and what it all means. There is a relationship at the centre of this final that goes far beyond two managers facing each other at Wembley. Mikel Arteta worked under Pep Guardiola for 4 years at Manchester City, and that history has been a talking point all week. Fabrizio Romano posted Arteta's words on this directly. Arteta said, "I had the incredible privilege to work with Pep for 4 years and all the staff and an amazing club. That remains part of me because it was part of the journey and where I am today as a manager. But that means you have to continue to evolve and improve constantly." That is a deeply significant statement. Arteta is not running away from that connection. He is embracing it while also making clear that the student has become something of his own. He has evolved beyond what he learned at Manchester City. He has built something at Arsenal that now threatens to surpass his former employer on multiple fronts. Arsenal Buzz posted further words from Arteta on this topic. He said, "It has changed. He is in Manchester. I am in London. We are managing two different clubs. The feelings from my side haven't changed at all. It's changed in the fact that we're never together. We cannot spend time together, and that's important for our relationship. But it's not the most important thing because what I feel about him and the time that we had together, what he did for me and the inspiration he's been since I was little for me, that's never going to change. There is real warmth there, but also real competition. And Guardiola has shown he respects what Arteta has built. When asked about the possibility of Arsenal winning 4 trophies this season, Guardiola said, "When the confidence is high, everything is possible." Think about that for a moment. The Manchester City manager is publicly acknowledging that Arsenal could win 4 trophies this season. That is not a throwaway comment. That is a genuine recognition of the threat Arsenal now represent. Guardiola is not dismissing them, he is treating them as equals. And that shift in tone from the City camp says everything about how far Arsenal have come. Guardiola also spoke in detail about what makes Arsenal such a difficult opponent. He said, "Arsenal control many things and many aspects of the game. The spirit for many years of not winning makes that boost and the solidarity in other aspects. They control when they defend deep, when they hide, build up long balls, second balls, so many good things. In the Champions League, they won all their games in the group stage and just drew against Leverkusen, so it will be a big challenge to see our level. Guardiola is breaking down Arsenal tactically and mentally. He is acknowledging their defensive solidity, their build-up play, their set-piece threat and their mental resilience. This is a manager doing genuine homework on a team he knows will test Manchester City in every department. And notice he mentioned the Champions League. Arsenal are still very much alive in that competition. The scale of what this squad is attempting this season is remarkable. Guardiola also addressed the so-called dark arts controversy surrounding Arsenal. He said, look what happens around the world. We are becoming an incredible chaos and nobody moves one finger. Everything is behind the scenes. The world is going to collapse and still we are here talking about either dark arts of one team or another. There are more important things than that. He is essentially dismissing the entire debate, refusing to get drawn into noise around Arsenal's alleged gamesmanship. And in doing so, he is actually giving Arsenal a kind of respect. He is saying the football matters, not the narrative around it. Guardiola also made a slightly lighter comment about the prospect of having dinner with Arteta during this period. He said he has no time to go to London and doubts Arteta has time to come to Manchester, given that Arsenal are competing in 4 competitions. It is a small moment, but it paints a picture of 2 incredibly driven managers fully consumed by their jobs during one of the most intense periods of the season. Arteta went into this final with his mind completely clear. He has a routine, he has a superstition, and he was open about it. He said, yeah, absolutely, for every game, it's not going to change for Sunday. It will be my routine since I wake up and the way I do the first preparation, the way I take the shower, my clothes, my water, my food. It's just everything, just in my body. It's showtime. I need to be ready. That tells you about the mental architecture of this manager. He is meticulous. He controls what he can control. He prepares in a structured way because he knows that preparation creates confidence and clarity. And he wants to arrive at Wembley in the sharpest mental state possible. He also had a direct message for Arsenal supporters. He said, be with us, push for every ball, for every action, and show how much we really want it, and together attack the final. He is asking the fans to be a weapon, to be a 13th player, to match the intensity of the team on the pitch. That is the kind of unity a manager builds when he genuinely believes everyone around the club has a role to play in winning. When asked about motivation, Arteta was composed. He said, I don't think you need a lot of motivation to play a final, and to play a final at Wembley. Anybody that has been involved knows that there are other elements that are very important to manage and to dominate in a final that we will discuss for sure. That final line is key. There are elements to manage and dominate. He is not just talking about desire, he is talking about control, tactical control, emotional control. That is the language of a manager who has studied finals and understands what separates teams who win them from teams who lose them. And when asked about whether he felt Arsenal could compete with Manchester City, Arteta reflected honestly on the journey. He said, all the work that has been done from day one, because that's the level, just being the Arsenal manager and not believing that you can compete at the highest level in the competitions, I think it cannot be aligned. Obviously, there are a lot of factors, and the fact that I was there, I know, in my opinion, where the gaps were and what the difference was, but not accepting it, being that it's part of the reality and trying to change it as quick as possible. He is saying he arrived at Arsenal knowing exactly where the gaps were because he had been inside Manchester City. He understood the standard required. And from day one, his mission was to close that gap as quickly as possible. That is the foundation of everything Arsenal have built under Arteta. He also reflected on the broader 6-year project. He said, I don't know, I think it's that, but the fact that at the end you have to win a lot of games and you have to be very consistent if you want to maintain those words or the project continuously. People believe in it, and at the end, I don't think it's never going to end regardless of what happens and how much we win in the next few years. It's always going to be something for the next 2 or 3 years. And honestly, we'll plan that, and the club will plan that in every department, not only in terms of the first team winning football matches, it's part of it. This is long-term thinking. Arteta is not just focused on one final. He is describing a project that has roots across the entire club, every department, not just the first team. That is the vision of a manager who thinks beyond individual moments and sees the whole picture. One of the biggest talking points heading into the final was the goalkeeper question. Arsenal used Kepa Arrizabalaga throughout the Carabao Cup campaign, but David Raya is the first choice league goalkeeper. So who starts at Wembley? Paul Merson gave his opinion clearly. He said, the big decision that Arsenal need to make is whether they go with Kepa Arrizabalaga or David Raya in goal. Kepa has been first choice in the Carabao Cup, and I think they should stick with him. It's only fair because he played well and got you to this stage. He added, but I must admit Raya is world class. The saves he made against Everton and Leverkusen were absolutely phenomenal. However, if I were the manager, I would still stick to my principles and choose Kepa as the keeper for the final. He's not let the team down in this competition and deserves to start. That is Merson's view. Loyalty to the cup goalkeeper, respect for the process that got the team to Wembley. Connor Hum reported that Arteta had already made a decision on the goalkeeper situation ahead of the final. He confirmed that Arteta made his choice but did not publicly reveal who would start. The decision was made, it was locked in, and when Arteta was told that Manchester City would start James Trafford, their cup goalkeeper, his response was described as sarcastic and pointed. He said, we'll see if he starts. However, it's tomorrow when I make the decision. That response is telling. He is playing the same game Guardiola played. Keep the opposition guessing. Do not confirm anything. Let the decision speak for itself on match day. Meanwhile, David Raya himself has been making headlines away from the goalkeeper debate. He revealed in an interview that joining Arsenal was the best decision of his career. He said, coming to Arsenal Football Club is the best decision I've ever made. I was very close to joining another club. Luckily, that didn't happen, and Arsenal came in with an offer. That club was Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, he was close to joining one of the biggest clubs in world football, and he chose Arsenal instead. That tells you something about the direction of travel for this club. That elite players are now choosing Arsenal over historic European giants. Raya also showed his quality of character when asked who the best goalkeeper in the world is right now. He said, best goalkeeper in the world now, I have two, but I would say Courtois. The other is Donnarumma. He praised Thibaut Courtois specifically, saying the things Courtois does for Real Madrid, he always shows up. He is so reliable. That is a goalkeeper who respects excellence in others, a sign of real confidence and maturity. And in training, Raya was asked who gives him the most trouble in one-on-one situations. He named Gabriel Jesus. He said, I would say probably Gabriel Jesus because he's so technical, he can do anything inside the box. It's so tricky to go 1-versus-1 with him. He's a flair player, he's Brazilian, he has so much technique. That is a lovely insight into the Arsenal training environment. The competitive edge that exists even within the squad, and it is a reminder that Gabriel Jesus, when fully fit and firing, is a genuine handful for any goalkeeper in the world. Heading into the final, there was genuine uncertainty around two key players, Jurrien Timber and Martin Odegaard. Daily AFC reported that Arteta revealed both players could potentially return from injury to face Manchester City in the final. He said, we have another session, so let's see if they can make it. That cautious optimism is significant. Odegaard's quality and leadership are well documented. His influence when fit is enormous. And Skorka highlighted something that underlines his impact even when coming off the bench. Both Odegaard and Gabriel Martinelli lead the Premier League this season for most assists provided as substitutes. Both have 3 assists each when coming on as replacements. That means even when Odegaard is not starting, he is changing games. He's impacting results, and the prospect of him being available even in a limited capacity for the final would be a major boost. Timber's return would also add defensive security and versatility in a game where Arsenal will need every option available. One of the most detailed personal statements of the entire build-up came from Kai Havertz. The German forward spoke openly and emotionally about what this final means to him. He said, I don't think it's like another match. It's one game, and if you don't win, you're out. It's going to be a big one. Arsenal versus City always is, but this, especially given the circumstances in the league, is going to be amazing. He then spoke about what the team is trying to achieve. He said, we want to show we are right there and want to show them that we're desperate to win trophies this year, and that starts on Sunday. We will prepare very well for that and try to bring the trophy home. He also reflected on his personal Wembley history. He has lost 3 domestic finals under the famous arch with Chelsea, 2 FA Cup finals and 1 Carabao Cup final. He was also part of the Germany side eliminated at a tournament at that stadium. So Wembley has not always been kind to Havertz, but he also scored the winning goal in the Champions League final and the Club World Cup final for Chelsea. He knows what it feels like to be the man for the biggest occasion. He spoke about the final day of the 2023-24 Premier League season with real emotion. Arsenal thought they could win the title that day. He scored in stoppage time to beat Everton 2-1, But Manchester City won 3-1 against West Ham. The title slipped away. Havertz said, "I had so many emotions in my body before the game. We all thought we were going to do it, and mid-game, we went 1-0 down. And then you hear the crowd going crazy as West Ham scored against City. Then we chased the goal, scored before half-time, and it was just very emotional. We didn't do it, but for me personally, it was one game I will always have in my mind. When you're in that moment and you feel how hard it is to take that defeat, when you could have won a trophy, it makes you train even more." He then added, "This year we have top opportunities and we want to go for it. I don't think about it on a daily basis, but in moments when you're trying to win something, it's an extra push that can help bring it over the line. That pain from last season is fuel now. It is not something that holds him back. It pushes him forward. And that mentality, turning near-miss heartbreak into motivation, is exactly what you need from your players in a final." Bukayo Saka spoke with the kind of confidence that does not tip into arrogance. He said, "We finished second 3 times in a row. Everyone knows that, but this time we believe it's our year. We have a strong squad and everything it takes, but we're staying humble and grounded because we haven't achieved anything yet. We're taking it game by game, starting with Sunday. 3 consecutive second-place finishes. 3 times Arsenal came close, 3 times they fell short. And yet Saka is not crushed by that. He believes this is the year. He believes the squad has what it takes, but he also understands the importance of remaining grounded, not getting ahead of themselves, treating Sunday as the only thing that matters right now. That balance between belief and humility is one of the hardest things to maintain in professional football. And the fact that Saka communicates it so clearly suggests a squad that is mentally in the right place heading into this final. Away from the cup final noise, there was a dignified moment worth acknowledging. Arsenal Inside reported that Piero Hincapié was honoured by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ecuador, Alejandro Davalos, at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. The recognition was for all his efforts as a football player, for representing his country and for being an example to the youth. It is a reminder that these players carry responsibilities and significance that go far beyond the pitch. Hincapié is a role model not just to Arsenal supporters, but to an entire generation of young Ecuadorians. That is a powerful thing, even as all eyes are on Sunday's final. Daily AFC reported that Arsenal owner Josh Kroenke flew to London and during his stay is likely to meet with Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta to be updated on Arsenal's plans for the summer. The Gunners will look to strengthen, though there is likely to be an emphasis on rebalancing finances with sales. This is happening in the background while everyone is focused on the cup final, which tells you that Arsenal as a club are thinking beyond Sunday. The planning is already underway. The vision extends to next season and beyond. It is important to be absolutely clear here. This is a rumour. Nothing is confirmed. But it is worth discussing because it connects to Arsenal's summer planning. Newcastle are reportedly open to selling Sandro Tonali early in the summer window. The reason is to avoid a repeat of the complicated and reportedly difficult situation they experienced when Alexander Isak eventually moved to Liverpool. Newcastle want to handle Tonali's situation differently. If it becomes clear that a move is inevitable, they would prefer to allow it to happen earlier rather than later. That gives them time to find a replacement. Arsenal are named as one of the clubs interested in Tonali. Manchester United are also mentioned as being firmly in the mix. Newcastle are thought to be looking for around £100 million for the Italian midfielder. Now, whether Arsenal can or should spend £100 million on a midfielder is a genuine question. Even with the success of the Declan Rice signing demonstrating that big midfield investments can pay off enormously, the question around Tonali is also about where he fits in the current Arsenal midfield setup. The logic of that investment would need to be compelling. But again, this is a rumour and it is being presented here strictly as such. What this build-up tells us is that Arsenal are going into Sunday's Carabao Cup Final as a club that is hungry, focused, emotionally driven and tactically prepared. The manager has a clear plan. The players are motivated by years of near misses. The injury situation, while uncertain, has reasons for optimism. And the opposition is taking them completely seriously. Guardiola's words alone are telling. He said Arsenal control many things and many aspects of the game. He acknowledged their Champions League form. He talked about the boost they get from years without winning. That is not a man who is underestimating his opponent. That is a man who knows a major battle is coming. And Arteta's reflection on the 6-year project captures something important. He said the club will plan for the next 2 to 3 years, and that planning touches every department. This is not a short-term football club chasing a quick trophy. This is a project built for sustained success. But right now, in this moment, Sunday is everything, because as Kai Havertz said, it is one game, and if you do not win, you are out. Arsenal have the hunger, they have the talent, they have the motivation of years of falling just short, and they have a manager who was trained by the very man he is about to face across the Wembley touchline. Sunday is going to be extraordinary. This has been your full analysis from Melissa, Arsenal analyst. If you want this level of depth on every major Arsenal story this season, subscribe to this channel now. We cover every angle, every detail, every word that matters, because for Arsenal supporters, the full picture is the only picture worth having.